So this is the next day. The JB weld had hardened off. I sanded it down with a body plane with an 80 grit paper on, and it's touched it really nice. But I have still a few more to do. I have this one to do, a little bit here. That one's okay. A little bit there, a little bit there, and at the front. But I've also got to do. There's pits in here. Pits in here. It's not very nice. And this one's starting to fill. That's coming up nice. Just wants a bit more work to it. The idea with this JB weld is not to put too much in. The more you put in, the more you're going to sand. Now we call them core plugs. Americans call them frost plugs because they do believe that when the block freezes up, these pop out. Whereas if any view in engineering knows that this is the core supports for the centre pieces of the sand mould, which is held around about here, so that when iron's poured in, the sand remains inside, and then it goes on a big vibrating machine and the sand drops out. They're machined out and they just plug them up. It's the same as here and here and here. The plugs all over the place. Easy, isn't it? Anyway, so that's coming on all right. Now the next one, this one needs a bit more. I'll have to do a bit more work on this plug. I'm going to leave it. I honestly am going to leave it because I don't know what's behind it. I don't know the reason why they've put that in. There was no signs of any leakage round it. This bolt's got to come out today. I've got a tool coming. I'll show you how to use that. But otherwise it's not too bad. But again, JB weld is a good filler for metal. And the reason why I'm doing it like this is to prevent any water leaks round these joints here. The reason is I have to use a composite gasket. I can't use a multi-layer shim on a 200 TDI. So the better these are, you know, the more filled in the better. So that's coming on. Tools I used for the core plugs. I got one of these flat wheels here, which is just about the right size to go into here. So there's very little movement. That's good. That works out nice. And to machine out these ports here, I've got my die grinder with a parallel bit on, and you can see I've got an air reducer, so this isn't spinning around like crazy and jumping all over the place. So that's that. So today we'll do that, and then we'll come back to that tomorrow. I've still got plenty of cleaning and things like that to do, and once we've got this done, then we can power wash it. And right, then we can get it. This block is taking a bit longer than I thought, but then again, the JB weld does take a little time to cure, but it's worth it in the end. So what I've got now is I've got so far onto this, what we would call the P gasket for a 300 TDI. It's the same pattern, so what we're going to do is try and follow that outline with the JB weld, and then we'll die grind it out and smooth it. So that paper gasket that goes on there has got maximum coverage. It's not too bad at the moment. I'll take this off and I'll show you. So there you can see how much corrosion's been filled in. We've got a little low spot there to fill in and a little low spot there, and tidy up around the inside. I'll do that again with a brush. I've got a little bit here to put in, but whilst I'm here I might as well show you why I'm doing this. Because on this engine we're going to have to use this composite type gasket. There's no other way. We've had problems before with MLS gaskets and the oil we're getting to the head, so we're not going to bother with that. But you can see this gasket is pretty bad, and you can perhaps see here where it's had sealer, raised bits of sealer around here, and if you look carefully just here you can see that has failed and it's on its way to the cylinder. So that's why we're doing it. So pay attention to all these little bits of sealer around here, because when I put this onto the block like this and I move that to one side, you can see that the block has corroded around here, and if we put a new gasket on, it's not going to seal, and that's the reason why we're doing it. You can see also in this block, this head gasket here, block, the water passage is restricted. See there? See there? 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 The water passage is restricted, but it still seals round a great big area here. So we're going to finish that off today. I've got a little bit of more work to do on the core plug at the back. These are done. This done. And then we should be able to say that that block is finished. If we didn't use JB Weld, get rid of that. If we hadn't used JB Weld, what would be the alternative? Perhaps somebody suggested TIG weld it. Well, I'm not sure if you can TIG weld cast iron. You could braze it. That's going to take a long time. And probably your block would be warped like a 9-bob bit. Now, JB Weld will take 5,000 pounds of pressure, which is not too bad considering it's only 15 pounds water pressure, so it should be alright. And I've been using it for years and years and years, so I mean, it's pretty good stuff. I've never had a gasket fail yet, so it's a little thing that we can do. It's a good practical use. A lot of people have said, oh, don't use that. Well, it's worked for me in the past. A lot of things have worked for me in the past that people say, you shouldn't do that. Anyway, we're going to get on with that, and then today, what else? Well, I'll show you some clean-up jobs I've been doing. So the wet bead blast has made a remarkable job of cleaning these parts up. I'll put in a little video of about before and after of a piston. So 5 minutes later, from that to that. No scraping. Remember when you used to mess around with old piston rings, cleaning out the grooves? Lovely. Same on the inside. See, it's a bit of a shadow in there, but it is clean. But the other side's sort of like that. Same with the rod. You go from that to that, and it's really nice to use. That was just a quick one. So I've got to get through all this box today. It's not too bad, but a lot of work. But they'd use so much RTV sealer. This channel here was full of RTV sealer. I think all they did was just plonk it straight on the head and hoped it would go down. That took me a couple of days, 2 or 3 days to get that clean up by soaking it in petrol gas. Because it's in a channel, it couldn't soak down to the bottom, so that's that done. The head. So the block's been power washed, steam cleaned, got all the grease out from inside, all the sanding dust, all the sand that was inside this block from sandblasting, and now we're going to do the core plugs. But anyway, we're going to put these in and we're going to use some retaining compound on these, because we don't want it to come out. Some people use paint. I'm using retaining compound. What the hell? So, that into there. And this is my little special tool, which was a nut that was the same or similar size to the plug, and just a tube so we can bang them in flush. No more. And that retaining compound will dry nice, and we won't have a problem with that. I'm still not sure what to do with this plug here. It's a steel plug, but as somebody put it in to do some repair, I thought at the beginning that plug was put in oversized, but when I offer that up, it's not too bad, because remember there's a little chamfer on those, and I think it's the same, but I've got to destroy it to take it out. I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do, because you know what it's going to be like. If I put it in, it's going to leak, innit? If I'll just leave it as it is, it's going to leak. But why have they done it like that? Who dares gins? Let's pull it out. Let's pull it out and we'll be happy. Well, here goes nothing. I've drilled and tapped a hole in this plug, and it must be about 6 or 7 millimeters thick, that plug. I'm going to just try, see if I can use this as a strong bar and pull it out. I don't want to push against the block inside, you know, like push it out, because it could crack the block. That'd spoil our day, wouldn't it? Oh yeah, it's tight. Oh, that ain't moving. Just weld that hole up. I'll put a bolt in it, and then I'll, you know, cut it flush, and then I'll weld it up, because I don't think that's going to come out. That's so thick. I've certainly really beaten that in. Well, that answers that question. If it doesn't come out with that much pressure, it ain't coming out.